way of living, so that the women must sew, the printing presses must roll, and Hawaiians must sing hymns and recite scripture. You must dress like foreigners do. You must eat what foreigners eat. You must farm the way foreigners farm. You must forget your dances and your traditions. In addition, the Calvinists said the reason you are dying is because you do not believe in Jehovah. They enter this mass death scene. They bring an explanation, and they offer a form of salvation. The form of salvation is olaho, everlasting life. So they convert because they believe it will guarantee everlasting life. Of course, it does not. The conversion numbers go up, but the population numbers continue to decline.
We build churches, labor day and night, but the land has become empty. The old villages lie silent in a tangle of bushes and vines, haunted by ghosts and horned owls, frequented by goats and bats.
It is impossible to estimate too highly the value and importance of the Sandwich Islands. The islands lie in the course of the great trade between North America and Eastern Asia. It would be highly injurious to our interests if they should be seized by Great Britain or France. It is the key to the dominion of the American Pacific.
Official American policy in the 1840s reflected this move for taking Hawaii when the President of the United States, Tyler, enunciates the Tyler Doctrine. In essence, a Pacific version of the Monroe Doctrine. It was a message that the American president was sending to Britain and France, telling them, this is not your arena. We, the United States, have this arena. While the Americans are doing this, they're also continuing to dispossess and remove American Indians on the American continent. They're also continuing their genocidal campaign against the Indian tribes. So this is a simultaneous grab for power. Americans are moving across the continent in North America as they are moving out into the Pacific.
Many more foreigners came to live in Hawaii as businessmen, and they were constantly pressuring the chiefs for private ownership of land. The chiefs resisted this idea because traditionally, land was like water or air to be used communally. But missionaries warned the chiefs that if Hawaiians did not own their land according to Western land tenure, then they would lose the land. This had been happening throughout the Pacific as Britain and France took over Australia, New Zealand, and Tahiti. Finally, in 1848, the chiefs reluctantly agreed to the privatization of land, called the mahele, or land division. For the first time, land could be bought and sold.
There are a great many foreigners arriving to take up lands, and soon all the lands will be acquired by them. If this be the Lord's will, it may not be ere long before I acquire some for myself.
The missionaries began to buy large tracts of land, leaving the church and becoming merchants. Some today are multinational corporations. And the Land Commission, run by missionaries, gave land awards to only 10% of the common people. These awards averaged 3 acres apiece.
In September 1848, an American warship brought the disease known as measles to Hilo, Hawaii. It spread and carried away about a third of the population.
As foreigners were allowed to own land, they came to make great sugar plantations, and great fortunes were being made.
These fellows do not think they have done much unless they make a yearly profit of 100%. If a native was stubborn and held on to his land, they would surround him with their plantations and squeeze him out.
And as the sugar factors, ex-missionaries, gathered more lands under their control, the question immediately arose as to a reciprocity treaty with the United States. The United States resisted this for a long time. Certainly the sugar growers of the South did not want to have sugar from Hawaii competing with their own sugar. So if they were going to give up their competitive edge, they wanted something. And that something was the Pearl River Lagoon, otherwise known as Pearl Harbor.
May 8, 1873. Secretary of War, Washington, D.C. Sir, in compliance with your confidential instructions, we have visited the Sandwich Islands and ascertained the defensive capabilities of their different ports. Pearl River Harbor would seem to have the necessary properties to be converted into a good harbor of refuge. It could be completely defended by inexpensive batteries,